Okay, good morning. Last time we remember that we talked about using real conditionals. Using real conditionals. Real conditionals يعني conditionals that could, may or may not happen. As we did last time, with the if clause we use the simple present, and with the main clause we use what? ممكن use will or may or can or could or simple present. Now exercise 1, using real conditionals. Change each statement below into a real conditional sentence. Use will, can, should, or may in the main clause. Look at the example here. Take a computer course and have better job opportunities. This is a sentence, and we have to make it what? If clause. So we start with if here. If you take a computer course, comma, طبعا if we start the if clause, the sentence with the if clause, so we should use comma. زي ال other adverbial clauses زي because و since و when و after and so on. So here we start the sentence with the if clause. So we say if you take a computer course, comma, so we should use comma here, you will have better job opportunities. Then this is what? Real conditional. Then in the if clause we use simple present, take. In the main clause we use will. Okay. So this is real conditional. يعني real conditionals, it may happen or it may not happen. Okay. Number two. Yes. Number two. We have study hard, pass the test. How can we make this conditional sentence or an if clause sentence? Yes. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Okay. So we can change this sentence into the clause by starting, for example, with if. So we say if you study hard, comma, you will pass the test. Then if you study hard, comma, you will pass the test. أو بنعمل العكس نقول you will pass the test if you study hard. So if here comes between what the two clauses, so no comma is used here. But if we start the sentence with if clause, then we should use comma after the if clause. So if you study hard, comma, you will pass the test, or you pass the test. Sorry, you will pass the test if you study hard. طبعا بالإف كلوز في عندنا study simple present، بالمين كلوز في عندنا pass. ليش؟ sorry عندنا will pass. لو we use will here with the main clause or in the main clause. Okay. Next. 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 Get roommate and share the rent. How can we make this an if clause sentence or conditional sentence? we say if you get a roommate, comma, you can share the rent. Then we start here the sentence with if clause. So we say if you get a roommate, comma, you can share the rent. Even in the if clause we have get, they simple present, and in the main clause we have can. أنا أقول main clause ممكن نستخدم will, can, should أو may. إذا هنا we start the sentence with if clause. We can start the sentence with the main clause. We can say you can share the room, comma, sorry, you can share the room if you get a roommate. Then here no comma is used. Okay, no comma is used. So we say you can share the rent if you get a roommate. أو نقول if you get a roommate, comma, you can share the rent. Next.
If you go to bed early, you will wake up refreshed.
إذن if you go to bed early, you will wake up refreshed. طبعا هنا we start with if we use the main clause first شو كيف نعملها؟ We start with the main clause first. What's the main clause here? You said if you go to bed early, this is the if clause, comma, you will wake up refreshed. But if you use the main clause at the beginning, شو بنقول? If you
wake up refreshed.
You will wake up refreshed if you go to bed early. Then هنا في two ways to make conditional sentence. We can start the sentence with if clause. If we start with if clause, then we should use comma. If we start the main clause, no comma is used. Okay. The last one.
أحكي أنا؟
Yes.
If you read more, you will increase your vocabulary. طبعا في comma بالنص. أو ممكن يحكي you will increase your vocabulary if you read more.
If you read more, comma, you will increase your vocabulary. Or we can say, if you read more, comma, you can increase your vocabulary. إذا بنعملها المين كلوز بالأول شو بنقول؟ You will increase your vocabulary if you read more. Okay, no comma is used here. Any question about real conditionals? Any question? In the real conditionals, if we start the sentence with if, we use if with the present simple present, طبعا followed by comma, بعدين المين كلوز. المين كلوز ممكن يكون will أو can أو might أو may. شو يعمل نقصد بريال condition؟ real conditions يعني can or may not happen. The second type conditionals بنسميه unreal conditionals. شو يعني unreal conditionals؟ Unreal conditional sentences express imaginary situation. Imagine يعني it doesn't happen. The if clause describes a condition or event that is not true at the time of writing. Then, what is the unreal conditional? إنه the if clause describes a condition or event that is not true at the time of writing. The main clause always or shows the imaginary result of the condition. إذن في عنا imaginary condition وفي عنا imaginary result. هاي بنسميه ايش؟ unreal conditions. إذا شو unreal؟ الريال بكون عنا الإف في الإيفنت بكون not true والمين كلوز بتكون الريزلت فيه ايش؟ imaginary يعني not real. So what do we use with the unreal conditionals? Now we use the simple past in the if clause. إذن we use simple past in the if clause of unreal conditional. بالmain clause we should use would أو could أو might. يعني عكس ايش الريال conditions. بالريال conditions بالif clause we use simple present. وبالmain clause we use will, can and may. هون العكس نعمل البالم. With the real condition we use the past, simple past in the if clause. بالmain clause we use what? يا would أو could or might. طبعا when the if clause is first and when we start the sentence with the if clause we use comma. When the main clause is the first we do not use comma. Look at the example here. If she studied hard, comma, she would get better grades. طبعا هاي عندنا ايش؟ If she studied هون simple past studied. إذا الإف كلوز شو فيه simple past. بالمين كلوز she would برضو past. إذا هذا conditional is not real. is not real. يعني الإف كلوز فيها true untrue time of writing الإيفنت هون untrue نقول if she studied in simple past. المين كلوز بتكون الإفكت برضو بتكون imaginary. You would get better grades. Okay. The second way, we start with the main clause. She would get better grades if she studied hard or harder. إذا هنا نفس الشيء. We use what? Would with the main clause, and with the if clause we use what? Simple past, studied. إذا هاي بنسميها إيش؟ Unreal conditionals. إنه الunreal conditionals means إنه الcondition أو الevent بيكون not true at the time of writing والeffect بتكون برضه imaginary. يعني both of them are what? Are unreal. Now, if we start a sentence with if here, طبعا بالunreal condition we use if plus past, simple past. شو بتكون الإفكت؟ الإفكت بتكون we use طبعا كوما هنا بعدين then بعدين would plus the verb would plus the verb. مثلا نقول if I had a car طبعا هاي if close في عندنا had past simple past كوما then طبعا then هنا optional I would ride to work. استخدم بالايش؟ بس بالمين كلوز would ride. طبعا after would we have base form. Now برضو إذا if we start the sentence with if clause برضو simple past المين كلوز بيكون فيه could. إذا بنستخدم could هي بنقول مثلا if we had more money وأنا had simple past then نحط could plus the verb. So we say we could buy a car. طبعا هاي could الباست من كان بالايش بالريال conditions. Another example برضو if you start a sentence with a clause we use simple past we say if I had more time of then هنا we use might plus the verb فبنقول ايش I might drive to Florida. إذا لاحظنا بالإف كلوز كله simple past had بالمين كلوز we use would أو could أو might حسب طبعا حسب معنى الجملة. طبعا هنا we start all the sentence or the examples here with if clause then we should use comma. You see the comma here after these three examples. If I had a car, if we had more money, and if I had more time off. فين هون comma. Okay. This is what we call what unreal conditions. Any question about unreal conditionals? Okay. Now exercise 2. Using unreal conditionals. Write meaningful unreal conditional sentences. Use the words given. Look at the example here. Snow in Hawaii, go skiing. طبعا we start with if clause we say if it snowed in Hawaii. طبعا the verb past snowed, comma people could go swimming. We use in the main clause could. Even in the if clause we use simple past. In the main clause we use what? برضو simple past of كان he could. Then this is what unreal conditional. نقدر نعملها نحط بالاول مين كلوز بنقول مثلا people could go skiing if it snowed in Hawaii. طبعا main clause at the beginning بكون هون no commas. Okay. Number 2.
أحكي.
Yes.
If I owned a car, comma, I wouldn't travel by bus.
مظبوط. إذا بنقول if I own a car طبعا comma I wouldn't travel by bus. If I own a car I wouldn't travel by bus. طب السكند way شو بنقول؟
I wouldn't travel by bus بدون comma if I owned a car.
إذا I wouldn't travel by bus if I owned a car. If I owned a car. Okay. Next. Next.
If people didn't watch a lot of TV, comma, they would read books.
Even if
Or
people,
they,
yes.
Or they would read books if people didn't watch a lot of TV.
إذا بنقول if people didn't watch a lot of TV طبعا استخدم الباست if people didn't watch a lot of TV comma they could read books or they would read books. Second way بنقول they would read books. No, people would read books if they didn't watch a lot of TV. لأن هنا في عندنا simple past هون في عندنا برضه simple past. في عندنا simple past هون past من إيش من will would. Okay, next.
If I know how to cook, I could make dinner for the whole family. أو بصير I could make dinner for the whole family if I know how to cook بدون comma.
Yes, good. إذا if I know how to cook, comma, I could make dinner for the whole family. Or I could make dinner for the family if
I know how to cook.
No, هنا احنا قلنا نستخدم simple past. If I knew not no لأنه هاي second condition. الفيرست condition نستخدم ايش؟ simple present. نقول if I know. But here we use ايش؟ we use simple past لأن unreal conditional لازم يكون فيه past. إذا نقول if I knew how to cook. If I knew how to cook, comma, I could make dinner for the whole family. Or I could make dinner for the whole family if I knew how to cook. Okay? Not know, knew. يعني real conditional بيكون فيه simple past مش simple present. Okay. Next. Yes.
If we have a lot of rain in the spring, comma, I will not or I wouldn't go camping.
إذا نقول if we had a lot of rain, طبعا نستخدم simple past. If we had a lot of rain in the spring, comma, we would not go camping. أو نقول we would not go camping if we had a lot of rain in the spring. هون بالexample بالsentence in this exercise 2 we make ايش؟ unreal conditionals. إذا شو difference between real and unreal? What's the difference between real and unreal conditionals? With real, what do we use with the if clause with the real conditionals?
Present simple.
Simple present. وبالمين clause?
Past simple.
No. احنا بنحكي unreal conditionals. With the if clause we use simple present. With the main clause we use will, أو can أو may. Okay.
okay.
الunreal conditionals, what do we use with the if clause?
بالإف clause past
Past. والmain
main
clause
would أو
would أو could
أو might.
or إيش or might. Okay. Exercise 3. Use real and unreal conditionals. Complete these sentences with your own ideas. Remember to use commas when needed. Compare your answers with partner. Look at the example here. If the economy improves, comma, more people will have jobs. What kind of condition here? Real or unreal?
real.
Real. Why? What do we have in the if clause?
عشان present simple.
Yes, simple present اللي هو ايش؟ improves. طبعا المين clause we have ايش؟ will. طبعا this is real condition. So if the economy improves, comma, more people will have jobs. Or we say more people will have jobs if the economy improves. Okay, next. Next.
I would buy a beach house if I had more money.
Then I would buy a beach house if I had more money. What kind of condition here?
Unreal.
Unreal. Then I would buy a house, a beach house, if I had money. طب السكند شو نقول؟ If I had money, comma, I would buy a beach house. Next.
If people receive better health care, comma, they will live longer.
And if people receive better health care, comma, they will live longer. أو the second way we say they will live longer if people receive better health care. What kind of condition is here, number 3? Real or unreal?
Real.
Real, yes. Next.
I would learn a foreign language if I could go back to school.
I would learn a foreign language if
I could
go to school, back to school.
real. صح.
Real or unreal?
real.
شو يقول عن real؟ شو بكون بالإف كلوز؟
present. past.
real conditionals. What do we use in the if clause? Simple present or simple past?
present.
Simple present. And then هنا what do we have here? I would learn. And then what kind of conditional here?
Past.
Real or unreal?
Real.
Real? هنا we use would here. احنا نقول real with you. What do you use with real? نقول will or can or might.
Yes.
And one would is past, so we don't use with real conditionals past, we use present. In sentence number 4 is what here? Unreal. Yes, I would learn a foreign language if I could go back to school. Okay. Next.
If homeowners used solar energy, comma, they would save money on their heating bills.
Yes.
Unreal.
Yes. Then, if homeowners used solar energy, comma, they would save a lot of money. On second, people would save a lot of money if they used solar energy. What kind of conditional this one? Real or unreal?
Unreal.
Unreal. يعني هنا use simple past, yes. Now exercise 4, editing a paragraph. Read the paragraph. Correct the mistakes in real and unreal conditionals. There are 7 mistakes. Yes.
أحله أنا.
Yeah.
أول إشي if you like بتصير like عشان real.
Yes.
Music. Think about taking music appreciation course. If you
إذا هنا
have.
إذا we say if you like music. طبعا هنا العبارة هنا عن real conditional يعني هنا think simple present. Okay. So we say here if you like music, comma, think about taking a music appreciation course. Next.
If you would بتصير have any talent in that direction, you may want to join a choir. بعديها I joined a choir 2 years ago and I enjoy it. I enjoy it
إذا
very
نقول
much.
هنا if you
بتصير if you have مثلا مش
أيوة.
would.
If you have any talent in the direction, if you have any talent in that direction, comma, you may want to join a choir. Okay. إذا هنا real or unreal conditions?
Real.
Real, yes. Next.
I joined a choir 2 years ago and I enjoy it very much. I know that if I didn't have my rehearsals, I would I would be very unhappy عشان unreal.
Yes, إذا نقول I know that if I didn't have my rehearsals, comma, I would, yes. I would be very unhappy. What kind of conditional? Real or unreal here?
Unreal.
Unreal, yes. Next.
اللي هي I look forward to working with conductor, learning challenging pieces and singing with a group. If I miss a rehearsal, I feel a little bit depressed عشان real condition. Even if we work on a difficult piece.
طيب خلينا نشوف number. If I missed the rehearsal, I feel a little depressed. How can we make this correct? If I missed a rehearsal, I feel little depressed.
بتصير if I miss بالpresent simple عشان real.
احنا بنحكي عن simple past هنا. اوكي. شو بنقول؟ طبعا موجودة if I missed. What should we change here? المين ولا if close ولا المين close؟ المين close. طبعا هنا if I missed simple past a rehearsal, comma I what?
I would feel,
yes. Okay. If I missed a rehearsal, I would feel a little depressed. طبعا هي هنا عبارة برضو ايش؟ unreal conditional. Next.
Even if we work on a difficult piece, I would find the challenging. بنشيل would بنخليها find the challenging exhilarating. بعدين if music is not
لحظة شوية.
Okay.
Even if we work on difficult piece, I would finish the challenge exhilarating.
بنغير المين كلوز. بتصير fine بدون would لأنه real.
وهنا احنا بنحكي عن I joined طلعي فوق. I joined a choir 2 years ago and I enjoyed it very much. عم نحكي عن past ولا لا؟ مظبوط. I joined a choir 2 years ago and I enjoyed it very much. إذا هنا we are talking about past اللي هو إيش؟ unreal conditional. استخدمنا برضو اللي بعديها هنا. قلنا if I didn't have a rehearsal I would be very happy. نفس الشيء الجملة اللي بعديها قلنا if I missed a rehearsal I would feel little depressed. Okay. The next sentence, even if we work on a difficult piece, I find the challenge exhilarating. شو بنعملها فيها يعني؟ نطبق عليها اللي قبليها زيها لأنه بنحكي على الباس يعني. Okay.
يعني بتصير if we worked
Yes.
on a difficult piece I
Yes.
would find.
I would, yes. If we worked on a difficult piece, I would find the challenge exhilarating. Okay. Next.
Okay, بتصير بعديها if music بدل is not بتصير was not.
Was not.
The hobby for you. You should. but إيش بتصير هون؟ you should ولا you would?
You would, yes.
You would find one that can bring you your happiness.
إذن if your music was not the happy for you, you would find not found طبعا أنا. You would find one that can bring you happiness. The last one.
If you did, you wouldn't be sorry.
Yes, then if you did, you would not be sorry. Okay. طبعا هنا استخدمنا ايش؟ في عندنا real و unreal. نفس الباراجراف فيها real طبعا أول 2 sentences. If you like music, think about taking a music appreciation course. نفس الشيء second sentence. If you have any talent in that direction, you may want to join choir. من الجملة اللي بعدين شو صارت؟ I joined a choir 2 years ago. ما بنحكي ايش؟ عن الباست. Okay. I joined a choir 2 years ago and I enjoyed it very much. Okay. بنقدر كمان بنعملها بالباست الريال بنقول if I joined a choir 2 years ago, comma, I would enjoy it very much. Okay. هنا استخدمنا اسم past لأنه بنحكي عن الباست لأنه years ago, 2 years ago. Then we change all the conditionals into what? طبعا after this sentence into unreal conditionals. Then this paragraph has 2 types, real and unreal conditionals. Any question about real and unreal conditionals؟ حد عنده أي سؤال؟ So why did we do this exercise? Because we use conditionals or real or unreal conditionals when in the essay about cause and effect. Because we can use conditionals in the essay we are going to write about what? Cause and effect. Okay. Now exercise 5, editing your first draft and rewriting. Review your essay for mistakes. Use the checklist, then write a final draft. طبعا هنا you are supposed to have finished what? The essay. So you have to check to make editing for your first draft. طبعا تعمل editing and you may what? Rewrite. Now we have what? To be sure of these what? Of these ticks here. Number 1, did you use any real conditionals? You ask yourself if you used any real conditionals. The second one, did you remember to use will in the main clause for real conditional sentence? طبعا if you use real conditional, do you remember to use will in the main clause? طبعا real conditional بيكون simply present بالif clause will أو may أو can بالmain clause. والله نفس الشيء you ask yourself did you remember to use will in the main clause for real conditional sentences. طبعا another question يقول did you use any unreal conditionals. طبعا if you use the question if you used هنا you say yes. So نسأل السؤال الثاني did you remember to use the past tense in the if clause for unreal conditionals. برضه to be sure that if you used what the simple past in the if clause طبعا would أو may أو might أو could بالmain clause. The last question you ask yourself here, did you use any models in the main clause for unreal conditional sentences? زي ما قلنا المودلز هنا ممكن يكون ايش؟ كان أو may أو will. طبعا بالنسبة ايش؟ للريال conditions. could و might would بالايش؟ بالunreal conditions. Okay. Any question about real and unreal conditionals? Do you have any question? واضح بالنسبة للريال and real conditionals؟ Is it okay? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. And if you have any questions about real and unreal conditionals, what we can answer these questions. So if you don't have any questions, then we stop here today at this moment. Okay. So see you next class.
دكتور
Yes.
بدي أسأل عن الامتحان.
Uh-huh.
مادة الامتحان لوين راح تكون؟
أي امتحان؟
المد
المد
يعني
عن الكوز والإفكت بنكتب عليه سي كوز أند إفكت. طبعا احنا كتبنا بالأول عن ايش؟ عن البروسيس اناليسيس. طبعا هذول الاثنين مع بعضهم بكونوا عن المد. يعني 25
تمام.
اوكي. بس
يعطيك
نخلص
العافية.
الكوز اند إفكت بنبدا نكتب الكوز اند إفكت اللي سي تبعنا وبكون يعتبر اثنين الاولاني البروسيس اناليسيس والكوز اند إفكت بكونوا عن اثنين عن امتحان الميد تيرم.
اوكي تمام. يعطيك العافية دكتور.